Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Asian Sago, and we are back for the last episode for the Scar H review, or the Scar L chapter review. And this time we're going to be featuring the NX rare variant of the Scar L, the Scar H, which means that just in case you guys didn't know in real life weapon trivia whatnot, the Scar L stands for the Scar Light. The L designation means that it's a light variant, whereas the Scar H is the heavy variant, and hence Scar H. And some of you guys may remember this gun from Modern Warfare 2. The Scar L variant is featured in Modern Warfare 3. So yeah, they're kind of interesting to know that Modern Warfare took the Scar Ls into their franchise, which I really like. They're both really good guns in those games as well. But anyways, it's combat arms, so let's talk about the Scar H and combat arms. So statistics-wise, there are a few major changes from the original MK16 Scar L. The first one being is its damage. Its damage is bumped up from a 40 to a 43, so you're going to be doing significant amounts of more of damage. And because it has the same rate of fire, your overall DPS time will be much better in terms of how fast you can kill someone theoretically. I'm gonna get into a second why I don't think it's necessarily true, but whatever. Just need to know you can just need to know that the damage is buffed up from the original Scar L, from Scar L to Scar H. Portability and rate of fire are exactly the same, and so is accuracy at what is it? 57, 70, and 85 each, so they're all the same portability, rate of fire, and accuracy wise. Though I would like to say that the Scar H just feels heavy. I don't know what it is, even though statistically speaking its portability is the exact same as the original Scar L, which doesn't really make any sense, but whatever, right? The Scar H just has a feeling of being heavy. I mean, it could just be the size on your HUD, or it could just be the fact that it's just the fact that I know that it's supposed to be a heavy variant, thus it feels heavy for me. It's like, maybe it's like some sort of, I don't know, pseudo effect, something like that, I don't know. But it just feels heavier for me for whatever goddamn reason. I just can't put my finger on it. And also the rate of fire. The rate of fire honestly feels a lot faster on Scar H than it does on the Scar L. I don't really know how to explain this either. It just feels a lot faster. Maybe it could be something about the muzzle noise, like the noise that it makes when you fire the Scar H. Maybe that's why. I don't know either. And the recoil is the next thing that has that's the next statistic that has a major change from the original Scar L, and that is the fact that it has 3 less recoil than the original MK16 Scar L, which I find absolutely bonkers because, honestly speaking, the Scar H has heavier recoil than the MK16 Scar L. There's no real explanation as to why that I can give you that can explain this. Honestly speaking, the recoil feels a lot heavier on the Scar H than on the Scar L. I don't know why. Nexon either royally screwed up the statistics on the Scar H again, or I must be using this gun wrong all this time, because man, the Scar H is exact opposite of what Nexon tells it to be. Statistically speaking, it seems like a really boss gun. In reality, though, it's not that easy to use at first glance, and you're gonna really need some practice with the Scar H in order to do well with it. And the recoil is not what it seems like. It is not lower at all. In fact, let's talk about the recoil for a bit. The recoil spread is different from the original MK16 Scar L in the fact that it enlarges almost immediately, slowly, but it enlarges almost immediately. The Scar L, you could fire like a couple bullets from it, and the spread wouldn't budge at all, like maybe for the first 3 shots or so. But the Scar H, man, if you hold that trigger down, that spread will go up very fast. And I don't know, I just don't know. I don't know why Nexon made this Scar H like this, but I mean, I guess they had a reason. I guess I would never know why, but for me personally, the recoil spread is just not good enough. Well, not really good enough. That doesn't really make any sense, but it's just not beneficial. It spreads out way too much that I prefer it to, so that it's only effectiveness in close quarters is when you spray, or whenever you want to spray. Its only real effectiveness is in close quarters combat. So Scar H isn't really that distance engagement friendly if you think about it a little bit. And another interesting thing to note about the Scar H is that if you stand completely still, if you guys notice your crosshairs when you stand completely still with the Scar H, and when you crouch, usually with weapons, weapons tend to get more accurate in terms of like their hipfire spread, like the crosshair spread, when you crouch and when you stand. But for the Scar H, there's no difference at all. So that's kind of like that's something that I wanted to point out to you guys, just so that you guys can keep that in mind. Let's see. So Recoil Kickback. The kickback is also noticeably higher on the Scar H than it is on the Scar L. So once again, something else that's different that I don't quite understand why. And for the Recoil Controlability, overall the Recoil Controlability is it's significantly harder on the Scar H than it is on the Scar L. One other thing to note about the Scar H is that the Scar H does share the Scar L's characteristic of bouncing up diagonally to the right or to the left whenever you tap fire while aiming down sights through like an ACOG or ITEC or whatever scope that you have. It'll bounce up to the right just like, or diagonal to the right or to the left, just like the original Scar L would. So keep that in mind. And everything else, let's see here. Let's see, tap fire ability is the same because you can definitely tap fire with the Scar H. There's not really much of a difference there, in my honest opinion. Sprint drawback, it's, well, all these things like sprint drawback to draw speed, center speed, reload speed, they're all pretty much the same with each other. It's just that they're all somehow different in terms of like their animation. Like the sprint drawback and the sprinting animation is different. The draw animation is different. The the reload animation is different. All those are different, but they're just trivial things in the end. Sorry about that, hiccups. And fire modes, it also shares this Scar L's characteristic of having a 3-round burst as well as being full auto. So once again, good thing to know right there. You can always use that 3-round burst whenever you need to at middle range or something like that. And luck, I get a lot of headshots. I'm not gonna lie, I get a lot of headshots with the Scar H, and yeah, I'd have to classify as moderate, high, or high for the Scar H as well. So yeah, that's that. And ammo capacity, same as always, standard 30 rounds in magazine and 90 reserve. Key physical characteristics, so it has the same camo or like the coloring thing as the color skin as the MK16 Scar L. On the Scar H, it's a little bit lighter, but overall it's got the same kind of hue on it, and it doesn't have the integrated foregrip like the Scar L variants do. Also, the magazine shape is completely vertical. There's no curve to it at all. Whereas if you take a picture of a Scar L variant, you'll see that the magazine has a slight curve to it, just like an M4A1 magazine. But for the Scar H, the magazine is very rigid, very straight. So that's that. Also, kind of looks like the ACR if you think about it a little bit. Just something I wanted to point out to you guys. Moving on to the muzzle noise. Muzzle noise is different. It's a higher. I don't know if it's a higher frequency one, but I'll just go with it anyway. It's a higher frequency and, in my honest opinion, much louder muzzle noise than the Scar L. So that's that. Attachment options, you can attach any kind of modification on the Scar H, so don't worry about that there. Fire team worthy, I'd say it's pretty fire team worthy because it does have some serious DPS on it, and yeah, you'll be able to knock down zombies pretty quickly. And quarantine worthy, nope. For the same reason as the Scar L, I do not recommend the Scar H for quarantine either. So that's that. Frank personal opinions. My frank personal opinions on the Scar H is that it's a very fun gun to use, and it's very satisfying to get kills with the Scar H. It's just that it's not the most practical, even for an NX rare variant of these MK16 Scar L. Honestly speaking, I would prefer the MK16 Scar L over the Scar H, but because I have it activated for like another 5 more days or so, I'm just using the Scar H just to make the most use out of it, because I know I'm not going to be able to use that gun again for another very long time. And yeah, it's a very interesting gun. It's a very fun gun to use, but by no means is it superior to its original variants, which I find very surprising because I prefer the Scar L variants a lot over the Scar H variant. So yeah, that's that, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed the Scar H review. This has been the 23rd chapter of my Exploring the Arsenal series with me, Asian Psycho, aka Sniper 98. And we will see you guys next time in the M60 review, or the M60 family of reviews. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys later.
Round start. Careful! Planting a mine! Round start.
Fire in the hole!
Double kill. Kill. Double kill.
Round start. Round start.
Watch your shot!
Kill.
Bravo team wins.